And the nurse said to me, "Oh, you can't hold your baby, but you can touch him with one finger." And there he lay, my brand new baby, not even 20 hours old, in one of those glass, clear case, the incubators in the neonatal intensive care unit at the hospital. And I could see off to the side behind his head there was an IV bag with the slow drip that was going into his arm. And in another corner there was an oxygen bag, because they really didn't know if he'd be able to breathe on his own. And in the side of that incubator, there were holes cut, round holes, not much bigger than this. And I looked at him with all those wires and tubes, and I didn't know whether to be glad or not that I couldn't hold him, because I didn't know how I would be able to. And I looked at my finger for just a second, and then I put it into that hole, through it, to touch him. My whole hand couldn't even fit through it, just my finger. And I could stroke him like maybe a quarter of an inch or a half inch of his arm. I'm not quite sure what it even felt like, but maybe it was kind of smooth skin and a little fuzzy. You see, it had started the night before, when I was sleeping next to my husband and my water broke and I went, "Ah!" And he went, "Oh!" And he grabbed my bag that had been packed for 2 weeks at least, and then he ushered me out of the house into the car, and we went to the hospital, and we had our baby. And I was told by this team of doctors and nurses that he was fine. He had 10 fingers and 10 toes, and he was beautiful, and I was able to hold him. And then after a little while, they said, "Well, would you like him to spend the night with you, or would you like him to go to the nursery?" And I said, "I am so tired," and I could feel the bags under my eyes, and I said, "Please take him to the nursery, but you'll bring him back in the morning." And they said, "Oh, as soon as you wake up and ask for him, we will bring him back." And so that's what we did. And he came back in the morning, and he was laying there with me when our pediatrician came in, and he looked exactly like Benjamin Franklin. He had this round head and a bald, top of his head, and then the gray hair and the round spectacles. And he said, "You have a beautiful baby boy, but he's breathing a little fast. I'm going to take him and make sure, it's okay. A lot of newborns breathe fast." No, a lot of newborns don't actually breathe that fast. A few hours had gone by, and my husband had come back after taking a shower at home, and we were sitting there, and the phone rang in the room, and I answered it, and this woman said, "Hi, I'm Peggy. I'm the nurse who's been assigned to your baby in the neonatal intensive care unit, and the surgeons are on their way to talk to you." And I just went, "Ah!" because all I could do was sob. I didn't even know what was going on. Well, the surgeons came and they told us that they had to give him an operation. You see, he had a hole in his diaphragm, and his colon had gone through the hole, and his organs had moved around, and his heart was in the wrong place now, and they didn't know, well, the appendix appeared to be on the wrong side. They didn't even know exactly what would happen. And those lungs of his, they knew that one was working fine, and that was letting him breathe. Those life-giving sacs, those bags inside our bodies that bring in the air, they suck in the air and they let it out. But one of them was flat, and it was pushed around by the organs, and they didn't actually know if it was fully developed, and they wouldn't know until they operated on him. And so I waited, and my husband waited. We had done the round of calls that said he was beautiful and fine to my family. Then we had to do the round of calls that said, he's not doing fine. And my sister said, "I'm coming. I'm dropping everything, and I'm coming right away." So my sister and my husband and I waited several hours while they operated, and then the surgeon came and said, "You'll be able to see your baby soon. He's come through it okay." We won't know about his other lung quite right away because we need to watch it. We need to watch it and keep that bag of oxygen ready. And so they let me in to see him finally. And that's when the nurse, Peggy, said, "You can touch your baby. You can't hold him, but you can touch him with one finger." And so I stroked him as best I could over the next 2 days, as much as they would let me when I wasn't sleeping. And then after a couple of days, they took the IV bag and put it away, and they took that oxygen bag, and they said his second lung was breathing fine, and it had developed, and it was sucking in that air, and both lungs were breathing in and out. And they let me hold him, and the nurse taught me how to nurse him, and he's the miracle baby. 20 years old today, uses his lungs to tell me what to do. Thank you.